You can record too.
Okay, hang on. Let me just. Oh, I'm recording. Whoops.
Welcome back.
Wow,
Mark
hello.
Atwood and I are back.
Back. Yes, we're still here. We're still alive.
Yeah, well, we're on the good side, that's for sure. More every day, I realize.
Well,
you know,
it's a shame that you had that internet problem yesterday because I had a really good joke lined up and I had to use it on a live video.
Oh
instead.
no, I saw you did it. It's more than an internet problem. I'm being Well, apparently, you know that now, according to our new Department of Defense, the Punisher is a racist symbol.
Oh, right. I better just fucking throw it that way then. Brilliant. Cheers.
Yeah, some guy got suspended from the NYPD for having a Punisher patch that said "Make America Great Again" on it.
That's
Suspended.
racist. That's so racist. What's really funny about that is that Marvel, which is all woke and full of shit, now they're eating their own tail. Okay, because anybody doesn't know the Punisher, Marvel. The guy who created that Punisher, he got really upset, didn't he, that it was acquired?
Backfired.
He's a
the
libtard,
Punisher's pretty
presumably.
pissed. Punisher doesn't like being canceled.
Well, my Punisher is now on the floor on the way to the washing machine. He's fine. He's fine.
Yesterday we were
clean up your act.
Yeah, I know. Really. I think it's time for him to get to work. Actually, he really has to go do some service. So yesterday we were supposed to work, and I could not get on the internet. And this is a day after I cannot send emails to my subscription list from my own website, and then my internet goes down. I couldn't get on all day, and the craziest thing that I wanted to tell you is I have had a lot of people over, probably because of some of our shows and others, that are satanic ritual abuse survivors get in touch with me.
Yeah, I've had a few.
This one woman did, and her email was so unbelievable. She's like a stage 4 cancer. She's in her 60s, and she wants people to know that it's real and it's not a conspiracy theory and all that. And I called her. I was on the phone with her for an hour. Her story is, we've heard it very similar to a lot of them because they're rituals. So, but like sold into an Illuminati family as a baby, raised by like the second top guy in the Illuminati in Canada. I mean, just her story is insane. But she's alive because she found God and Jesus and she fights back. But lots of over the years stuff. So I'm talking to her. We hang up. I swear, one thing after another happened to me, like just a shit show. And I thought of you, and I thought of your exercise, and I just had to like separate. And then I couldn't get on the internet, and I couldn't download anything, and it was just, and then it was just, and I had this overwhelming feeling of like heartbreak, really just heartbreak. And it was obviously it wasn't out of nowhere, but until this journey that we're on, I didn't realize I was upsetting the demons that are obviously connected to this woman who her stories are unbelievable. But
I've got this highly advanced anti-demon technique. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to see it?
Yes.
You go, demons! That's what I'm going to say to you.
I know. And you should hear this woman. She was telling me about fighting back her demonic satanic ritual abuse stepfather, and just being like, I'm with God and Jesus. Who's going to save you? Nobody, and the whole thing. And then like when she died, she sat straight up in the middle of the night in her bed and she said, he's gone. He's gone. And her husband's like, what are you talking about? She's like, he's dead. And he had died overnight. And, I'm going to have her on. But, it's coming out more and more. I'm seeing, did you see there was that the nuns in Germany, that they got outed for selling all these kids into sex slavery?
Really? Nuns? It's so hard to believe, isn't it? Nuns. They're so nice, nuns. Yeah.
And then another one and another one. I've seen tons of arrests and tons of exposure in Washington as well, finally. I do hear that they've been digging up underneath all the, the fake, like a Comet Pizza wasn't real. Then why are they digging up under there? and all over DC. They're digging up stuff. Last night there was some kind of random explosion in DC, and then it was told to people that it was a manhole cover. Probably not.
But
Probably not.
It's all fairly obvious. I mean, anybody watching it, let's go back to the SRA for a bit, because the SRA is something that is deeply, deeply true. And I had the privilege of meeting a campaigner called Robert Greene about 10 years ago at a David Icke event in Wembley.
Right.
And I went up to him, I shook him by the hand, and I got the full body tingle, because this man was a total warrior of God. And he was campaigning for a girl called Holly Gregg, who was, she was born, I can't remember, she was born with a disability. I can't remember what the disability was, but it meant that she couldn't communicate very well. And she was born into a satanic family in Scotland. And her father and brother were gang raping her with police and council and politicians. And they were all doing, because Scotland is the home of the Scottish Rite, it's one of the most satanic places. I mean, Scotland itself is beautiful. The country's beautiful. The people are amazing. But it's deeply, deeply infested, which is why the Queen has Balmoral and all of that. It's all connected. And this guy, Robert, I'm telling you about him because I think you'd like him. And I'd love to, we should both interview him if he's still around.
Let's do it.
Because since the pandemic, I've lost track of a lot of people like this.
Yeah.
But he was, he lived in northwest England, and Scotland had the Scottish police drove down from Scotland, outside of their jurisdiction, 2 o'clock in the morning, bashed his door in, went in, took him, totally illegally, took his computers, took him up to Aberdeen, I think it was, and there was a kangaroo court there, and he was just tried and put in prison for 2 years with no evidence, nothing. And this was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, I think. And we used to write to him in prison and just keep they stopped his medication. They did so much stuff to him to try and stop him, but he had God on his side, and I hope he's still alive. I think he is. And he was campaigning about this abuse, and the mother of Holly Gregg's brother was burnt to death in his car. This is the kind of shit that they do, and she had to go into hiding. And if any of people who are associated with that case are watching this video, I haven't been up to date with it for a couple of years because I've been so busy with doing this other stuff, but he never mentioned the SRA until I think after his first time in prison. And then he had a room full of people, and he said, what you need to know is this is actually all satanic ritual abuse. Yeah. And I've not told you that before because I knew it was too much for most of you to cope with. This was 7 or 8 years ago. So, and that opened, that can of worms just kept opening for me over time. And I've spoken to lots of SRA victims, and then you start reading stuff have you read the stuff by Kathy O'Brien? Oh
yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah, I love her.
So anybody watching this should research Kathy O'Brien.
Oh yeah.
And research about her being in human hunting parties with Bush and Clinton with rifles out of a helicopter shooting children. This is the truth, right? So everything you say about digging under Comet Pizza, I saw a picture of Congress, and they'd excavated the back, and there were kids coming out of the tunnels. Some people watching this will think, it's just conspiracy madness. It isn't.
No.
And that's why this is taking so long, because this goes so deep. You wouldn't believe how deep it goes.
Yeah. I mean, this woman that I was talking to, because it's very bad in Canada. I mean, we talked once about the case with the Queen of England and her husband, who stole those kids from Canada, and they were never seen again.
1966, 16 children went into the woods and didn't come out.
Right.
And this demonic stuff is real, Mel. They're real. I've been fighting these fuckers for 50 years. I don't know how I'm still here, the amount of damage they did to me in my life, but I am. And that protection I gave you is just one thing. Sage is another. We have to go back to, this is old knowledge. This is ancient knowledge, right? Yeah. I lived in Morocco for 4 years. Everybody in Morocco knows about the jinn.
Right.
It's part of their life. They know what time they come out. They have rituals and things to protect themselves about all of that all the time. But in the West, we just got it all taken away. So we all go into the world thinking everything's lovely, watch the telly, eat a hot dog. No. This stuff's, that's why this is biblical.
Yeah, this planet is so dangerous for children, way worse than we ever thought. And what's really disappointing right now in America, at least, first of all, people in America that are on the side of God and country and all of this are so pissed off that it's getting scary. I mean, because they don't know what we know, and they don't believe anything's happening, though I see it happening every day now. But they've had it. And the other part is the people that aren't. I mean, like I got a text. I was talking to a friend who's a very wealthy Pakistani who moved to America, you know, and became very successful, but wasn't raised here. Was educated at Oxford, all of that. And there was a conversation, and I have to make sure that I don't have conversations with certain people because it's just not worth my time. I know too much, and I'm very invested, and I'm very passionate about it. And I said, well, you know, everything that Joe Biden's done since he's gotten in has been to serve the CCP and the cabal, not the American people, and people have had it. And he started laughing at me and said, oh, please, you know, and I said, listen, if you love America and you love freedom and you love the world, he's not what this faux presidency, everything that he's putting through isn't just dangerous for America. It's dangerous for the planet, for the entire world.
Yep.
And everyone's watching. And he's just sitting there like laughing at me, like, you're just Trump, you're just obsessed with Trump. I said, I didn't bring up Trump. What does this have to do with Trump? I said, it has to do with the Great Reset, ceding our sovereignty to a one world order, and Joe Biden being in on it, hook, line, and sinker, whoever that person is, because it ain't Joe Biden, or it ain't the Joe Biden we saw for 40 years. And I had to leave the restaurant. It was like not that I was in the restaurant, because in New York, we still have to sit outside if we want to go out to eat.
Well, I was going to say, at least you've got a restaurant to go to. I've been sat in this kitchen for months.
Right.
I'm a great cook, but, you know, occasionally it'd be nice to go out.
I know. It's so crazy. But it was just like another time that I have to remind myself you don't need to tell people anything that they don't want to hear. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, it's not.
And, you know, so it was just one thing after another. Anyway, then I finally, I did like a whole reboot of my computer, and it came back on, and then I couldn't find any of my Zoom files. I mean,
well, it is Mercury in retrograde. And but not only that, it's huge amounts of energy are coming down. The Hertz is way up. It's like over 8.3, I think. And it's like, I've read that this is going to keep going up. This frequency, the Schumann frequency, and everything else, because it's basically cleansing the Earth's chakras. And I learned to do this on ayahuasca. Ayahuasca taught me how to clear my own chakra tones, and it was like held me up against the wall, had my throat, and I was like until I got it right. And it was like hard. It was like 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
With this spirit pushing me against the wall and moving my, and that's exactly what's happening to the Earth. It's certain frequencies will dissipate the evil, like dark cannot survive in light. And the thing is, Mel, you're shining a huge light in the world, right? Because of that, it's like I kind of describe it like this. If you imagine like this is a cloud base, it's like you've just sort of popped up like this. And when you're popping up like that, they come straight for you, which is why the protection is so important, because it's real. And you are working so hard because you're producing video after video after video. You've got to take time to protect yourself. And there's loads of energy healers I'll put you in touch with, and people that can give off you protection, but it's real.
Right. Yeah.
Anybody watching
And the one thing that it did yesterday was that I couldn't get online. So I used your bell jar thing for like 2.5 hours. I just sat there with my little frequency on in my ears and just thinking that way, because I knew that it was some kind of spiritual attack. It was too much at one time.
Yes.
And I was walking around as if I had a broken heart. You know, that feeling when your heart's so broken and you can feel it. Well, I had that, but it wasn't, nothing in my real world was indicative of that feeling.
Well,
and another thing
it's an illusion. Don't forget, it's an illusion. And at the moment, what the demons do is they pick on your weak point. So if you, for example, if you doubt somebody about something in any kind of business relationship, personal relationship, whatever, then they will amplify that doubt. Right. And that's the first thing, because once they amplify that doubt, they've got you. And this is why we're seeing so many trolls and all this kind of stuff accelerating at the moment, because it's all this doubt being amplified, mixed out with cognitive dissonance. You've got a recipe for hatred. Hatred is exactly what they feed off. And as soon as they feed off hatred and division, their objective gets to be revealed. So what we have to do is protect ourselves and keep soldiering forward, because this really is, hold the line and the armor of God have never meant so much.
Never. never. And thank God. But listen, that's why I'm so grateful for you and a bunch of other people that we connected with mutually, is because I know that, you know, people out there have my back. And that's why and vice versa in the spiritual sense.
Yes.
And that's why I say to a lot of people, not only do we have to keep doing this and getting out there and being fearless and fighting the censorship, but also so many people, I get so many emails, probably 500 a day.
Yeah, I'm getting
And from all over the world. I know you do too.
Yeah.
And it's like we're, to some people, we're the only people they have, especially people that are isolated and locked down and are doing their own research, but don't have the forum we have or the support system that we've built somehow virtually. Yeah.
Well,
and so that's what I get a lot in my emails. Like, thank God.
You are a warrior and you are protected, but you've got to work on your own. And anybody watching this as well, it's very important to understand that people like me, Mel, and other people, we're not gurus, we're not messiahs. We are just seeking the truth, and we're just trying to share with you what we know. It's up to you and your own intuition what you do with that information, right? And part of this whole spiritual quarantine that we've all been in since this pandemic started is and what the back channel, which is the 17th letter in the alphabet, to those people who don't know what the back channel means, let's just explain that. What that's all been about. It's all been about you taking sovereignty over yourself and full control over yourself and responsibility for how you feel, how you act, and your own moral, as Charlie calls it, moral compass, because you've got to find out what that is and stand in your power, because you're everybody watching this, you're all enormously powerful, but you don't know it. They've taken it away from you. So, you know, don't start slagging off anybody because you've heard something about them or you disagree with them or whatever. It's your responsibility, not theirs. It's not our responsibility.
Right.
We're doing this because we're compelled to do it. It's not because this is not a great career move. You get demonically attacked. You get hatred from
especially
all around the world.
For me and you.
You know, my business has gone down the shitter because I've been doing this, right? So, you know, some of us do some things to say, hey, maybe if you want to help the channel, I recommend this product because it's a really good product. Yeah, we might earn a bit of money from it. It just keeps us going. It's not about it. You know, this is war. We're in a war, right? And at the moment, we've got the cojones to stand up and talk to the world on the internet about it.
Yeah.
Because we're compelled to do it. There's no other reason.
No. And honestly, you know, before this all started and I got involved and hooked up with Charlie about a year ago and all of that, and really dug in. I was always involved in doing research and all that. And my biggest pet peeve has always been that the UN is the Nazi party reinvented.
It is.
And nobody seemed to notice. But I've been railing about it for a long time. But I right before this happened, I had a limited series deal for a show that I co-wrote and produced based on a true story. Really great project. And last week I had to tell my friends to take me off of it. I'm not off of it, but they had to take my name off of it, or the deal was going to fall apart. And we all were put on hold March 15th. And I was working. That's the only reason I'm in New York, is because I came back here to do it. And then I got stuck here. But I'll tell you that I had to make the decision to call them and say, take my name off it. And you know, when it gets into production and all that, you know, we'll deal with it there. But, you know, I can't be involved because you won't sell it. I mean, not that we have an option, but it's not going to go forward with my name on it. I know that.
Well, you know, I know what you mean. And that's a very good story to share with people, because there are real consequences to doing what we're doing. But we're going to win. And those demonic motherfuckers that commissioning all of that, they'll be gone. I mean, I just did some comments on the Irish Independent Facebook page just before you came on, and I'm just like saying, look, you know, this demonic propaganda rivers of bullshit coming out of this newspaper is unbelievable. Like, wear 3 masks. It's all this. It's so ridiculous, and I'm like, but you know, I don't care, because you're going down. They're all going to go down.
I agree. And I know on the other side, you know, nobody can take our talent or our ability or our passion away from us. We're not going to stop writing and creating and all that because of whatever. But I know on the other side that there's going to be a whole new world for art and talent and all that, which has been extinguished by the satanic demons that have been running that world. because anything that was good or godly or changed minds or inspired people no longer fit the narrative. You had to be CIA approved to get a deal in Hollywood in the last 10 years.
Well, I got an email the other week from somebody who'd written a movie that was being made by Universal. It had a list of names in: Clint Eastwood, DiCaprio, Colin Firth, I can't remember, the Kate Winslet. And the writer wrote to me and said, I want you to be in it.
Oh,
And
great.
I was like, what, me? And she goes,
Great.
yes. She said, forget all that lot. They've all gone, right? They're all gone. I only want to work with people in the future that I align with spiritually.
Right.
I'm like,
me too.
Yeah.
But how lucky.
Well, this is what's going to happen.
That's all I ever wanted anyway. You know, when I started getting into filmmaking and everything, I love John Cassavetes and I love the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, you and me got to have movie chats because
we should do them.
We did a Kubrick night. I was doing it the night before we were supposed to speak. Just me and my son just breaking down.
Oh, we got to do it.
2001.
Yeah.
No, that kind of
Cassavetes was another one, and don't forget that he was in Rosemary's Baby, which wasn't a joke.
I know. That was the documentary.
And if people think that Mia Farrow is not completely in that world, and Roman Polanski.
I've told you the link between Mia Farrow and where I am, haven't I?
I'm not sure.
This town that I live in, Mia Farrow's mother was born here.
Oh, wow.
Right? And then, of course, there's Ronan Farrow. It's all really bizarre.
And people forget that Mia Farrow married Frank Sinatra at 18 years old.
Yes, she did, yeah.
But did she meet him that day?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I think she met him about 10 years earlier.
Yeah. So, and she's out there, giant demon. All you have to do is look at who's out there railing the most against Trump.
I used to do a comedy double act in Edinburgh Festival, and we opened with we called it Frank Sinatra. And we'd come on with a hat and a little blue nose going, start spreading disease. And they go on like that. New Reich, New Reich.
Yeah.
And then we had people looking at us like this.
I know. But you know what? He knew.
I knew. He knew about Sinatra. Sinatra was a nasty man.
And I saw his daughter come out the other day, like it matters, and say, "I will never forgive Trump." And somehow that makes it into the New York Post. Who cares?
Of course it does, because the New York Post is run by a paedophile protected motherfucker from England.
I know. And
cussing, all you non-cussers.
It's okay, I don't care.
Sorry.
It's funny. I had to turn off my comments on BitChute. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, BitChute is awful. They just hatred is like blah, 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 blah.
One after another.
I just laugh at them.
And they keep being
any trolls watching this? We don't care. You can't hurt us. We've got God on our side.
Right.
You're nothing.
It was so nice at first, and then it became like the anti-Semitism was off the charts, and it was just so ugly. And then of course everyone that attacks me assumes that like I'm also like everything that I say is connected to Charlie or you.
Oh my God! Yeah, like you're not an individual.
But also, it's just like I don't know if you took a look at the ridiculous impeachment nonsense yesterday, which I found very entertaining because both Ted Lieu and Swalwell are way deep into the Ed Buck West Hollywood ring of satanic pedophiles and stuff. They're very Ted Lieu is like best friends with Ed Buck, who's in prison for raping and killing by overdose and taping his abuse of young black men and
what a
children.
Lovely guy.
Yeah. And Ted Lieu's like best friends with him.
Yeah.
He's given money to all these people, and they're the ones that are trying, are making the case against Trump, which is totally bogus. But the worst part about their whole fallacy, the whole nonsense is that they're basically saying humans don't have free will. So Trump could ring the bell, even though he said to be peaceful, and they, of course, didn't show that. And of course, he's the only one since Jimmy Carter who didn't go into wars and tried to get us out of them. But he's such a violent guy, But their whole thing was, what they were saying was, and Trump got his cavalry, his minions, No. This had nothing to do with Trump. This had to do with patriots who saw cheating, and any level of cheating should invalidate the election. And remember, it was like there was no cheating. And then the new narrative was there wasn't enough cheating to affect the election. And then there was another narrative. And we all know it's all bogus.
Well, I just saw on Facebook that anybody posting Mike Lindell's absolute proof is having the Facebook thing say this is incorrect and been fact checked. And it's like, just watch it.
Yeah.
It's called absolute proof, and it is.
Right. Well, also, if you look into who the Facebook fact checkers are, they're International Fact Checking Network out of the Poynter Institute, which is Bill Gates and Soros funded.
Oh, really?
And
That's a surprise.
every single one of them. And then I was doing, this is crazy. I was doing I am doing a show on all the accomplishments that Trump has made in fighting child trafficking and sex trafficking.
Look, if the man saved one baby, he deserves your vote, because no other politicians has ever done that. Not even one.
Yeah.
He
But
saved
worldwide,
millions.
I know him
I know.
and the alliance, and
It's
people still don't
incredible.
believe
And I want
that's
to thank
real.
any alliance members watching this show. I want to thank you from the bottom of
I
my heart,
know.
because we know what you've done, and we thank you. And anybody else watching this that doesn't get it,
So listen, so I put in stupidly once in a while, like I'll just start searching and I won't realize I'm on Google,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, damn it, I gotta change, But anyway, so I put it in. We know the truth because we've seen hundreds of public arrests, but you and I know about all the private stuff and the underground and all that. So anyway, one after another, Snopes, Media Matters, PolitiFact, New York Times, it's debunked that Trump has made any headway in human and child trafficking. Debunked, they say. And
hilarious.
it's lies, and human trafficking has gotten worse under Trump. Are you joking? This is so insane to me that these and they're all funded by the same people. I know the inversion.
But we're watching a pantomime. We're watching a film. But remember that. But anybody, I just want to show you this quickly, right? So this is my answer to Facebook. They said your community standards goes against your post goes against our community standards on misinformation about V word. So I put one up saying your community standards go out against our human rights to be informed the truth about the world. You satanic communist fascists disguised as libtards will soon either be in prison or much worse. So I don't really care. Nothing can stop what's coming. And I'm finding taking the piss out of
me too.
Really annoys them.
I know. And the worst part is that we saw basically Mark Zuckerberg has turned into full demon in that Project Veritas piece.
What do you mean turned into? He's always been one.
I know, but now it's full out. Now he's lost the adrenochrome, I guess, that hides it.
He looks like he's not human.
Human.
Yeah.
I do believe that we are at we're way past the point. The sad part is that I think a lot more people in my country are awake, but there are so many that are still so brainwashed. You'd be surprised. I can't believe people even watch CNN. It's so anti-America in your face. Isn't it amazing?
It's extraordinary. They just have it on the background. It's like I think a lot of the viewing figures come from being in bus stops, airport lounges, restaurants, and places like that. But people just have it on in the background, and they don't realize it's going in.
Right.
It's brainwashing them without them engaging with it, because you don't need to be engaged with it because it's hypnotic.
Right. It's at the point, where it's so dangerous, though. It's so beyond dangerous. And they really need to pull these people's licenses. These are crimes against humanity. They're psychological crimes and emotional and mental crimes. And nobody seems to grasp that this has been. We do. I just mean not nobody. A lot of people don't realize that this has been a major crime against humanity in terms of our mental health and our psychological health. And that's the hardest to heal. The hardest to heal is the damage that they're doing to people's entire brain structure.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's our entire existence has been a crime against humanity. It's not just the last year. Every single thing in your house is a weapon against you. Even your t-shirts, if they're not made of organic cotton, is a weapon that's toxifying you. Even your shoes that are insulating you from grounding and connecting to the earth are weapons against you, because that is making you ill. Even your food, which is being sprayed with all everything is a weapon against you. Right. And that's what we either stop it or we're going to be wiped out.
Yeah. I have a feeling a lot of it's been stopped already, but it's just hard because they're so arrogant and in our faces. They know they're caught and they know it's a farce. And what's even crazy is Rothschild kid Macron comes out yesterday,
I hate that, man.
upset about the progressive left-wing agenda in America and the anti-white agenda in America, because he said it's hurting the whole world because A, it's not true, and B, everyone that's watching this around the world is being affected by a lie. And I thought, hello, Macron. I guess he's being controlled, but
something.
I was surprised to see that, and he was pretty out there saying that the progressive left in America is destroying the world, not just America, and it's got to stop.
Well, this is very interesting because there's a couple of things I want to say on that. Firstly, Macron, when he was running for election, he came out and said there's a couple of things. Firstly, he said there's no such thing as French culture, right? Which is so fucking untrue. It's
now he's saying the opposite.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying, right? And then when he did his speech, he was in front of the pyramid of the Louvre, the glass pyramid, which was commissioned by President Mitterrand, right? And it has 666 panes of glass in it, for anybody that doesn't know. And there was a red light above it, which was the Eye of Horus, which also incidentally appears in 2001. The way Kubrick shot the monolith from below, it actually looks like a pyramid with the top cut off and the sun comes above it. With the hot, it's so much symbolism in that. That's a separate conversation. We should do a film series. There's another thing.
We should, let's do that. We'll do like Kubrick. We'll do we'll do Cassavetes. Maybe.
So this is how this links. So this is how this links, right? So I was living next when Macron got in. My next door neighbor was a film director who directed Emmanuel.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I know it.
So he invited us over for drinks to celebrate Macron coming in. Imagine me at a party celebrating what I knew was a satanic paedophile monster. And I'm sat there and I had like one gin and I was like, I've got to go. I just left. Like there's shit coming out of their mouth.
I know. That's like me with the guy the other night from Pakistan. I looked at how
many parties I've been kicked out of over the years?
That's okay.
A lot.
It's a badge of honor. I mean, I left a lot. There was a time in Hollywood when I first went out there that if you went up to a party in like Mulholland Drive or somewhere up in the hills, I once got stuck at a producer's house and I had to make a choice. Either I drove drunk or I got raped. And so that was a bad night. But I have to tell you that there was a time when you couldn't get cell reception up there. And the things that went on up in Holland Drive and the Hollywood Hills during, before our cell phones and certainly before Uber and Lyft, if you went up there, it was at your own risk. Yeah. That movie that
Tarantino,
David Lynch made about Holland Drive.
Yeah.
No joke. No joke. There's some real demons up there. And if you were a young actress or actor in Hollywood or producer, writer, whatever, and you went to one of those parties, I didn't know at the time, but it was go at your own risk, really.
Well, one of my best friends from 25 years ago was a musician called Brian Glancy. Go and look him up on YouTube. He committed suicide or died of a drug overdose, not exactly sure, about 12 years ago. And he as a young, good-looking Jewish magician from Manchester, phenomenal singer-songwriter. He gets quoted by a lot of bands as being an influence on them, but he never made it, right? And he went to Hollywood, and he was very depressed about it when he got back. He used to call it LA or Los Angeles. Yeah. And he said, and I tried to probe him about stuff, and he said, "You just don't want to know."
No, you don't
want to know. And I was like,
"Listen, I got it. It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. I've been around everyone. I went to the Golden Globes and the Emmys for 12 years straight, invites, and all the parties and stuff. And by the time I left, I couldn't have. I saw the demonic takeover because it used to not be on the surface, but by the mid 2000s, they were no longer fearless.
And the movies.
Yeah, and the biggest agency there, I believe, is the hub for the entire thing. And if you look at it, anyone that we find out is one of these satanic pedophiles, look at who represents them.
Yeah,
and it's going to be the same agency I'm talking about. And I know all roads of the satanic Hollywood lead there, but then there's also the CIA headquarters that people don't know about in LA that, runs a lot. And now every time I see, even people that I knew weren't suicidal, and then one day you'd hear that they overdosed or they were committed suicide, I'd be like, no way. No way.
What are your thoughts on, because it's been just over a year now since Ricky Gervais did that Golden Globes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Which was it's one of the best pieces of comedy.
He could have gone so much farther, he says.
Well, do you think he was briefed? I mean, I heard he was briefed, and there were loads of guys in the background with guns waiting for shit to kick off, because what he had, the amount of truth that he said at that was extraordinary and hilarious.
Yes.
I've
Thank
got
God he
to
did it
believe
funny,
that Ricky's one of
but
the good guys.
he called them all out. And here's the thing, okay, because it is the foreign press, which is a joke in Hollywood. I mean, that the whole Golden Globes is a joke. But I have to tell you something. What was interesting was the camera. The camera was hitting on all the worst of the worst.
Everybody remembers Tom Hanks's face. Yeah.
No, there was other ones.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep. I mean,
Meryl Streep.
It was hitting on all of them.
Meryl Streep is the one that got everybody up at the Oscars to give a standing ovation.
Roman Polanski.
I mean, if you don't, convicted. I mean,
not just that. I mean, look at Rosemary's Baby. He was telling you exactly who he was.
Yeah.
And why can't he get out? Why is he in Switzerland? Again.
Yeah.
But not just that. It's just the thing about the Gervais thing is he knows everything. He really does, and he I believe that that was a plan. Like that was not.
Well, they're in a room. They can't go anywhere. They're on the cameras. Yeah. It was live on TV, was it?
Right. But that was live on TV. But that's the only reason he could do it was because it was live, and he knew it. And then he's kind of said, F off. I don't need to be back here again. The good thing about Gervais is this is what a lot of the best people that survived do, is he got to a point where he didn't need anyone else's money. He didn't need anyone else's approval. He could make his own stuff because his talent was that much, and he fought so hard, and he's such a unique voice. But at that point, I think he had already seen all the evidence about the sex trafficking ring and all that. He already knew, but I think he knew everything about Epstein Island for real, because people still don't know that Epstein Island isn't about teenage girls going with Epstein to an island to frolic and be, that's not what it was about. It was satanic ritual abuse and literal Satanism being practiced.
Yep.
And they're still not disclosing that. And that's one thing that I have to believe, that we are watching a movie on another level, because I cannot believe that those people are possibly free.
They're not. They can't be.
It doesn't seem possible.
You just got to remind everybody that's freaking out and getting involved in negative stuff and all of that. The bad guy. I say this every video now. If the bad guys were in control, you'd all be dead.
Right.
Because they wanted us gone.
True story.
Epstein was involved in CRISPR gene technology. Go and look it up. CRISPR, CRISPR. Go and look it up. That's what they were doing. They've been modifying the human race for so long. It's horrific what they've done to the human race.
And depopulation.
Those of us on the surface who've been going around our lives and thinking we've got free choice and all of this bollocks, seriously, we've just been food. We're less than cattle to them. Less.
Right.
And the dirt under their shoes. Then we're nothing to them.
Right.
And that's what people cannot get their heads around, because they believe that these people in charge were actually human, and I'm telling you, they weren't.
Right, and the fallacy that they always guise all their stuff under humanitarian or doing good. I had a friend that did a little project, but I was working on for a while, this art in the embassies program that is really a giant, human child trafficking ring. They ship live art. Marina Abramovich, Coons, all the usual suspects, all the demonic artists. They are all featured in our embassies all over the world, propelled by Hillary Clinton and Branson's mom and all those people. And they're also involved in the international child trafficking charities and stuff, which are all, they're doing the opposite. And, it's really disturbing, but people just don't want to believe it. All you have to do is look. And where is Marina Abramovich? I would say that she was probably, she's disappeared a long time ago.
Oh, that's Ghislaine's brother, right?
It looks like it. It looks like it.
I mean, when Robert Maxwell was, I grew up with Robert Maxwell being on the TV, and I was like, this guy, even when I was a kid, I was like, this guy doesn't add up.
Oh, yeah. Well, what we talked about when that SRA survivor called me, and we were talking about it. And she said that when she was kidnapped, like that Sarah Ruth Ashcraft is a very similar story. She's out there and has talked about it. I hope she's in witness protection, because she's the one that testified about Tom Hanks. But
she was the one who said that her father sold her to Tom Hanks when she was 13, right?
14, yeah.
14, yeah.
Yeah, but this woman, similar story. Her father had her kidnapped and she was put in a cage underground and beaten, and they made her do stuff and to let her go. One day she was just let go, after 6 weeks or something horrible. And so she was telling me the story, and she got to a point where she just said that, it's going to be, that's going to probably be the hardest, I think, part for people to realize that they've discredited all these people. Look at the McMartin case, the Finders, all this. It had with the abuse. She said it was even worse that people didn't believe her.
Yeah, of course. That's why that's how they've done it. Nobody believes
right.
it.
Right.
It's genius, really. Who wants to believe that? If you tell people the truth of this is why this is such a wonderful show that this is the only way to do it. Anybody freaking out about wanting disclosure and all of that, all of this is designed to save as many people's lives as possible.
Agreed.
It's as simple as that. Because the stuff that I've been carrying for 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, most people would have a heart attack if they actually started to really research it and believe it.
Right.
At the very least. And if they don't do that, they have cognitive dissonance, and they double down, and then they start fighting. I mean, the only time anybody's tried to punch me in the last 10 years is when I've told them things like 9/11 was an inside job, or, the satanic pedophile abuse is real. People just literally want to punch me. And it's like,
right.
Well,
right.
No.
Yeah, because we were also talking about how, all the baby skulls that were found at the Vatican, where they had kidnapped her and kept her. She went out, I guess they like marched her out somewhere, and she said that there were baby skulls everywhere.
Yeah.
And, and that they were trying, and this is also what I hear is they found on Epstein Island, and this woman's totally credible. Not only all I had to do was listen to her. She also right now has stage 4 cancer, and she's seeing what's happening. And she's like, I want to at least give my testimony to people so that they know, I don't care what they think of me. I'm fine. I want to leave here with God winning and whatever I can do. And I said, oh, you'll come on the show, whatever. And she's so grateful. But, again, it's the same thing. But for the grace of God and finding Jesus, does she think she's here at all? She can't believe she's still alive. They've tried to kill her many times, but you know what they do? They tried to kill her, and then just at the brink, they let her go.
Yeah, because they feed off all that loosh and all that energy when they do that.
Crazy.
It's there's a woman, I'm trying to find her book from the UK, who had both her kids taken off her because she found, this is like crazy, right? She was married to a guy, and he's SRA. He was a Satanist, and he was abusing the kids. She didn't know.
But no, this woman told me her mom didn't know. She says her mom didn't know, and her mom didn't believe her.
Yeah, because you can't believe it, because you have to admit that you allowed that to happen.
Right.
It's just, but this is all done through demons. So the demons, they take you over, but you don't realize they've taken you over, right? And you might like get drunk and do something stupid, and you think the next day, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that. Well, it wasn't actually you that did it. It was them driving through you, feeding that insecurity, feeding that addiction, doing whatever it is that made you think it was all a good idea. You remember those cartoons in the old Warner Brothers cartoons when a little devil and a little angel would pop at either side? That's true. That's what actually happens. That actually happens.
Yeah, but also I was saying to her that from what I'm hearing, Ghislaine Maxwell and some of the other people that we haven't seen yet, but we know about from the back channel, that when they're confronted, they say that they were abused. And you know what she said to me? Bullshit. And I said, yeah. She goes, and I said, what I always say is, we all have free will. And she goes, yeah. She goes, I'd rather them torture me than hurt a child or hurt a baby. She's like, I'm much stronger than a lot of other people that I know, that they force them to do stuff. And once they do it, that their lives are over. It's over. And I think are you talking about those 2 kids that were
not the Hampstead kids?
What?
You thinking about the Hampstead kids?
Yeah.
No, it's not them.
But do you know that they're with their father?
Yeah. Who's a Satanist? Rick.
How is this possible?
Because they're all in on it.
I know, but I've been looking them up because I believed every word they said. You can't make that shit up like they did.
No, they didn't make it up.
I felt so bad for the mother and everything, but this has happened to all these people. But I saw them. I found a little clip of them.
I know
They're gone.
it's heartbreaking.
They're totally gone.
Heartbreaking. But I,
On that note,
well, no, what I'm saying is, it is heartbreaking, but I don't know. I have the ability to compartmentalize this because this is a war. This is good versus evil. Either me and Mel and people like us are right, or you're all screwed.
right. That's what somebody said that to me 2 days ago that, if you're wrong, if you're wrong, we're, like you say, we're all going to die. If I'm wrong and you're wrong and we're all wrong, then what? Then what?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
hell on earth?
Yeah.
Like they want?
Yeah. Well, they nearly got there. So
yeah.
I found it interesting that there was some of the trolling that's going on is quite funny. Somebody did a poster that included me and you. I'm not going to explain what was in the poster apart from the line about me. And this, I was like, is that the best you can do? Right? And it said, featuring Mark, the plagiarist poet.
Oh, was Alpa in it too?
Alpa.
I think she sent it to me.
I don't think Alpa was in it. But for you, it was like, Mel, will I ever shut up, Kay? I thought that was quite funny as well. Yeah, she's from the...
No, I won't.
She's never going to shut up. So have that. So
yeah.
I because we've only got a few minutes left, I'm going to play you a poem this week.
Great, perfect. That's my favorite part because they're mind blowing. So
this is my plagiarist poem, right? So this behind me here.
You're a giant plagiarist.
This is my giant plagiarism.
Right.
I love the fact that they don't even know
write anything yourself.
They don't even know what the word plagiarism means.
Right, and plagiarize from who?
Yeah, exactly. Because this poem behind me is called "If" by Rudyard Kipling, which which was given to me when I was 12 years old by an amazing woman, and that poem saved my ass thousands of times through my life. It's just the power of poetry, right? When the pandemic started, I had this massive urge to rewrite it, and I said, I called it "If 2020," and this is my take on if. I'm not saying this is what Rudyard would have written, but this is my version of if for these times. So
let's do it.
I'm going to play it.
I love it.
Here we go. He even put his name on it.
If you can keep your head when all about you are wearing masks and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when your neighbors doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait for the lockdown to be over, or stop believing in government lies, don't deal in lies, or being hated for posting truth on Facebook, and use your intuition to get wise. If you can dream the golden age to come here faster, if you can think for yourself but not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with Trump and avoid disaster and treat those two just the same, if you can bear to be called a conspiracy theorist, a CIA term to make a trap for fools, or watch long-held beliefs become absurdist and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap from all your crypto and get some gold and not give a toss, and lose your debts and start a new beginning and never breathe a word about it to your boss. If you can force your nerves and courage to speak your voice when it seems they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the strength to face the dawn. If you can talk on YouTube and keep your virtue, or speak your truth without losing the common touch, if neither trolls nor loving friends can hurt you, if all followers count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of meditation in 5D, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a multi-dimensional being. You'll see. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about.
Perfect.
Well, I've not seen that in a while.
Perfect. I almost cried because that is what it's all about. And Mark, people don't, I've always been like I say to people, I didn't leave Hollywood unscathed. I have my own stories, you know, and
Me too.
it broke me down bad, and the insecurity and the you know, just self-esteem and the just all of it over years. And you know, right now, as hard as this has been, I would never be able to do this. That, like, who I was then would never be able to do this now. The attacks and everything are so off the charts, but honestly, they're giving me, I just know that, you know, I'm over the target, or why would anyone care what I have to say on my own channel?
Yeah. Why would
You
they
know,
give a shit?
and yeah, the attacks are heartbreaking, but then I see something like that, and you articulate it that way, and it makes me feel like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why you keep going.
Well, let me
Because
tell you this: you were chosen by God for a reason, because God knows that you can do this.
yeah. And again, we are very blessed that God also put us in touch with the right people at the right time to support us along the way. You know, when I say I really look forward to my weeklies with you, it's because there's a sense of like,
Because I'm just gonna.
but you get it and I get it, and we
Yeah.
both know we're doing it for the right reasons, and you know, and that's but it's more of a spiritual thing. And I think the further we go, the more people are inspired by us. And I keep saying to people when they say, what can I do? What can I do? I say, be fearless, go out there. Who cares if you get kicked off Facebook or Twitter, or, you know, start a channel and people call you all these things. Believe me, it's happened to me. But the amount of love and support and thanks I get far outweighs the demons.
I have been sustained by my audience.
Me too.
It's incredible. You know, some people might want to say, oh, they're moaning about it. No, we're just pointing it out because it needs to be pointed out and it needs to be transmuted. But
Right.
all my subscribers, every day, I treat the love as well as the hate in the same way. It's like in the poem, the original one, treat those two imposters just the same, which is success and failure, because they are both imposters, right? And what we have to do is, what everybody has to do is what I said at the beginning, which is to be the calm at the center of the storm, to find out who you are by looking inwards, find God inside you, because that's where it is. The whole universe is inside you. You are a portal to the universe. You can travel anywhere in space and time. Go and listen to the messages, decalcify your pineal gland, stop taking fluoride in your toothpaste. If you've got fluoride in your water system, find out. If you have, filter it, get it out of your system as fast as possible. Take responsibility for your own health. And what will happen is miraculous, because it doesn't take that many of us on this planet to shift this reality, because that's what we're doing. We're transmuting everything and we're shifting the reality. I see it all around me all the time. It's already happening. I have nothing but faith that it's going to happen.
Me too.
It's an incredible future. So there you go.
As always, nothing like Atwood and Kay.
I've got to shorten my name. It's going to be M.A. We're getting shorter than you. It's like Prince, and I just got one name. That's what I'm going to have.
Right.
I'm just
and
going to.
We're going to. Yeah, we'll expand it to once a week. We'll do this. Once a week, we'll do movies and other creative stuff out there that people might not have seen or might not have been exposed to. That really is art.
I think it's really important, because people don't realize, they have no idea. They're being. You know, people, Kubrick, I go on about them all day, but you know, some filmmakers have been out there trying to warn us about what this is all going on. Others have been out there programming us, right, and turning us into. I mean, I was out yesterday with my daughters, and they were, shh, Dad. I was like, what? That girl over there, she's I can't remember what it's called now when they don't identify as male or female. It's like she's non-binary. I went, non-binary? You mean she's not a two? And the gag didn't go down that well, but. How can a 13-year-old girl identify as non-binary? It's just Satanism. Seriously, there's only two genders. That's it. For fuck's sake.
No, I know. I'm with you. Well, good thing that you're educating your children yourself, and everyone should be doing that. That's awake and making sure that their kids don't fall into this.
It's a fight. It's a battle. But you know, the schools have been filling your kids with shit. The TV. This Black Mirror is filling them with shit as well. If you're a parent, you have to you have to do the research, and you have to take your kids aside and explain things to them if you have done the research, because they will turn on you, because that's
the goal.
That's what it's all about, because the state owns them. You signed away your rights to your children when you made that birth certificate. If you don't realize that, go and research it.
Right.
They have taken, I was taken away from my mother when I was born. My birth certificate was traded 370,000 times before the website that told us that, which was hidden in plain sight, shut it down after loads of us went and had a look.
Right.
We're all owed millions.
I know.
But just for being alive.
So crazy.
It's crazy.
I know. It's just so crazy what they've gotten away with, these greedy, and then the UN and the NGOs and all of this. People really need to take a look again, like you just said about the kids. Well, when the UN was established and the Lucis Trust being their philosophical base, all you have to do is look at it. They had a plan for the kids this whole time. It was always about getting the kids away from the parents, brainwashing them.
They will slip Lucifer into it somewhere.
Yeah.
The Vatican
that's what happened at universities. Yeah,
of course, it's everywhere. But on the positive note, I am manifesting. There's another thing actually. If this is on my channel and your channel, whoever's watching this, I know there's a lot of healers that are on my channel. Please send Mel some protection. Just
thank you.
Yeah, and I promise you, I did this with my friend, comedian Alan Park from Canada. He loads of people sent me loads of protection. He couldn't believe it. And that's how we do this, because collectively we just got to protect each other, look out for you. I'm going to send you some. You got to do it yourself as well, right? Get yourself some.
Yeah.
And
well, Mark,
I'm manifesting a really bright future.
I could not be more grateful. Like the whole satanic, demonic thing. It's hard to accept. It was for me, but now I'm at a point where I see it. I see it, and I feel
it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
You're a spirit.
Spiritual battle, as we've said.
You are a spirit having a human adventure. You're not a human having a spiritual adventure. That's what this is all about. Exactly. It's us waking up to that single concept. And we're going to make heaven on earth, I'm telling you.
I agree. And I couldn't be happier to be doing it with you and on the same team, because you are, your talent is really off the charts. And I look forward to when all of this goes to the next level. And we, that too, but we can make some real stuff.
I lived in Manchester for 25 years. I don't care about making, so I just want to party.
Okay, love you. I will see you next week.
Take care.
Let's keep doing it and keep strong and protecting each other. I love you, and I will see you next week.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye. Bye.